not doing. He's doing well though. He's doing well. All right. So how'd you lose? How'd you lose the first two, man?
Well,
Don't let it be a
right.
repeat of last
so
season.
the first two games, the first game I lost just because I knew I was going to take the loss because I had Van de Beek and Martial who weren't even scheduled to play, as well as Torres and Watkins. So, and then Nick Pope would be my number one goalkeeper, but he didn't.
You
they
had
didn't.
Man City Torres.
Yeah.
All right. Now let me ask you a serious question: Is how many people in our league know about Torres?
I'd say a total of you, me, and maybe one more.
Yeah. I would have left him hanging for a minute.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I probably should have done that. And then I started Casilla because I thought he was the starting keeper, but I completely forgot last year that the Meisler, the backup at Leeds, took the starting spot. So I picked him up.
About Leeds.
Picked him up, and then Sanchez didn't even play, and then Barnes, Sigurdsson, and Lana got me a total of 5 points.
Sanchez from where?
Sanchez from Spurs.
Okay.
He didn't play. And then week 2, basically, my whole team did pretty well. No, my front line and Watkins, Martial, and Werner they only got 2 points. None of them really did anything. Obviously, United were absolute shit. Chelsea, I mean, they had nothing going for them really, in my opinion. They had a couple chances, but once they got that red card, there was no way they were going to get the ball up to Werner anymore because they had to lose a midfielder. And then I had Van Dijk and Keane, who both got Keane got a goal and Van Dijk got the clean sheet. Lamptey got an assist from Brighton, and then Doherty, Spurs won 5-2, so he got the 2 points for playing. He didn't get an assist or a goal, but since he got a yellow card and he conceded 2, that was -2, so he just came with 0. And then Barnes did well for me. He scored a goal, got an assist, and got the 3 points bonus. And then Van de Beek got the goal for United. And since it's a midfielder, he got 5 points, and he only was on for 23 minutes, so I got 6 points from there. But then Joe, the guy that I was playing, his team, he had De Bruyne and Zaha, who got a combined total of 28 points for him. So he had James Justin, who I don't think he scored at all last year, and he all of a sudden fucking gets a goal for Leicester. And then Robertson obviously got the clean sheet against Chelsea. And then Antonio got a goal against Arsenal. So basically, Joe beat me because of Kevin De Bruyne. And
Antonio.
I guess and Zaha.
West Ham.
Yeah. So my team this week, it wasn't a bad performance for my team this week. I feel like it just kind of was unlucky that I didn't have another player do well because Joe Lewis, for him, played 90 minutes and they conceded 3 goals. So he got -1 and he got a yellow, so he got 0. So that just cancels out Doherty for me. But yeah, my strikers kind of let me down, and then my midfield wasn't great. Yeah, I mean Lallana. But luckily for me, this week I'm number 1 on the waiver wire. And that man, Gareth Bale, is coming back to the Premier League for Spurs. So
the new old blood.
You know what's up. You know what's up.
Now there's a exclamation point on his name saying that waiting for match fitness. Do you think it's going to be a week, 2 weeks, or when do you think he'll be integrated?
I think that's just a precautionary thing because I feel like they did that exact same thing with Thiago last week. No one could sign him last week because I think he was signed on the Wednesday. And then he was in the team. Like you can't sign a player a couple days before the game week.
Mm-hmm.
So he had the lock on him, so no one could pick him up before the weekend. But he also had a warning saying that he was 75% match fitness or whatever. So I think that's just a precautionary thing. I'm sure I think he'll be on the bench. He might come in for 10 minutes this week, but yeah, I don't see him starting for another 2-3 maybe.
Okay.
But I mean, the Spurs need something because they've got Son and Kane, who are their entire attack, and then that's it. So if they add a third person like Gareth Bale to that, then
what do you think that'll do to Son's points? Do you think Spurs will become, especially with Doherty coming in, and I know they have Reguilon too, but he's also new. But do you think the better link up would be on the right side with Bale coming in, and Son might lose some of the points he might have if Bale did not come in?
Yeah,
because if they're looking to feed a forward, will it shift from Son to Bale?
That's a good point. I don't know. I don't think it'll completely shift because, I mean, Son will always produce. Like he's not ever gonna not produce. I mean, look at Harry Kane. Him and Son are able to work well together. So I think they might lose some points, but both of them are still gonna produce just as well as they would with Bale. And if you think about it, if Kane is able to get 4 assists to Son with 4 goals, and then Kane getting a goal himself, I mean, just add Gareth Bale to that. I don't think that means that you're getting less points. I think that means you're going to get more, because then, like, you just have that left side with Son and then Harry Kane, but then so the defenses just have to focus on those two. Whereas you put Gareth Bale in, then you're like, well, shit, that guy's over there on the right side. So then the defense has to be aware of everyone, and I think that just frees up more space for Son and Kane.
You could make it a 7-2 game as opposed to a 5-2 game.
Yeah,
especially with the rating that Lucas had last weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I won my second week. I won my first week too. But all right, so I started out with Gabriel, Arsenal, because he balled out for me last week out of nowhere, just out the gate. Welcome to the Prem. Fernandez for Newcastle, he started for me. He did well last year. He was he scored a few goals as a center back, so I thought I'd pick him back up. Mendy, thinking about getting a couple assists. He's more of a clean sheet type player, though, being on Man City, I feel like. And then my midfield I started was Fernandez, Bernardo Silva, Trossard, and Harrison. However, and then this is what's messed up. Before the weekend, Silva had like a yellow exclamation saying that there's a 75% chance of him playing. So I'm thinking, all right, he might get subbed on 75. They're probably trying to get him fresh again. He'll get some play time. And then after the weekend, after he wasn't even on the substitutes, it says he'll be expected back October 17th. So that's beautiful.
What happened?
I don't even know. I have no idea.
I'll look that up.
And then I had, Jimenez up top. He scored per usual. It's my boy. And then I put in McBurney. I didn't pick up McBurney because I thought he'd be knocking him in. If anything, he was like my first sub type player. If he gets a goal, well and good. But he's not turning out with hat tricks this season, if ever. McBurney, yeah.
He might get 2 goals.
I can see
and both of them will be against United.
Yeah, or West Brom. Teams of the same caliber. Identical teams for sure. Wilson, he did his business at Bournemouth and joined a growing Newcastle side that finished the season well last year. I thought he'll put away some goals. He did first game in, and then Brighton mollywopped Newcastle 3-0 over the weekend, so only got 2 points for 90 minutes. And then Patricio in goal. 3 goals conceded but 6 saves, so it came out to 3 points for him with the 90 minutes played. And then I didn't start Sayas this week because they were playing City. I made the right choice.
Yeah, good call.
And then O'Connell I put on the bench because Sheffield's not the same Sheffield they were last year at the moment. And let's see.
Yeah, I feel like if you've got any players that are playing against Liverpool, City, and depending on Chelsea's form up in the upcoming weeks, you don't start those defenders. Like they're going to get scored on, so you're not going to get those points. Unless you have a wing back, then maybe you could get the points back based off of an assist. But if you have a center back who's definitely not going to get an assist, they might get a goal, but yeah, I wouldn't start any defender against those top 3 teams in Liverpool, City, and Chelsea.
My rule of thumb when it comes to defenders that I kind of picked up from last year is you get teams that run a 5-back are usually a good choice. Not all the time with Sheffield this year, but most of the time Wolves will get more clean sheets than not. It's teams that want to squeeze a 1-point win, basically, like that. Those type 5-back prim teams. Wolves, your Sheffields.
Even Arsenal kind of doing it now.
Arsenal does it now. Manchester United does it sometimes. But I wouldn't pick up Wan-Bissaka as a delivery on the outside option.
Yeah.
And then any prolific fullbacks, your Aylings, your Bryans, your Walkers. Even he puts up a couple assists.
Yeah, but I wouldn't pick up like Zinchenko or Mendy for City though. They're not productive in the offensive end of the field for City, really. I mean,
they invert more where Walker overlaps.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they have the type right wingers that they do in Mahrez and Silva that come in.
Yeah, because
And then the guy I played, Victor, he had, let's see. He had Carroll up top with 1 point because they played Brighton, and Brighton were not too kind. He had Jesus, who scored 1, got 6 points. Batshuayi didn't do anything for Palace. Neves, Conte, 2 defensive mids. You're lucky if they get points. Traore usually gets points, but not against City. Salah only had 3 points this week, and I'm sure that upset him after the 20-point gout he got last week. Big difference there, 17 points. He probably could have used it. Bellerin had 2 points for 90 minutes played against West Ham, not a clean sheet. Zuma was a part of the Chelsea side that lost 2-0 to Liverpool. Lindelof was a part of the Manchester United side that got beat by Palace 3-1. And he started Kepa in goal. And then had Alisson on the bench for 14 points that could have beaten me if he had been played.
I don't understand that mindset to start.
Well, bias helps you. Dude, I started Townsend. I'm a Manchester United fan, and I started Townsend because I knew he would score on us. If you play a bias in this league, you're going to get fucked because you're going to make brash decisions but hope in the wrong player, and then Alisson's going to let you down.
I just don't understand the
reasoning. Not
reasoning.
Alisson Kepa, I'm sorry.
But even then, like, if you have like I was just saying, if you have a defender or a goalkeeper against Chelsea, Liverpool, or City, you don't start them. And especially like Chelsea are nowhere near the level of Liverpool and City. So starting Kepa over Alisson, especially how poor Kepa was last year, just makes absolutely no sense.
And the state of Chelsea's defense, with or without Silva, is still questionable.
Yeah.
We haven't seen them with Silva yet, but if he comes in and just makes an impact on Alonso to defend better and brings a true right back out of Reece James, then their defense is still just Thiago Silva at that point because they're lacking at the moment, I feel like.
Yeah. Alisson got 14 points because he saved the penalty, which obviously that gives you 5 points as a keeper, which is basically like scoring a goal if you're a midfielder. So that's why. But yeah, even then, take away those 5 points, it's still Kepa or Alisson would still have 9 points. So there's absolutely no reason why Kepa should have started over Alisson. I mean, there were literally memes last year that said that Wolf strikers being like, "Oh, Kepa's in goal. Yeah, I'm just shooting because it's probably going to go in." So
definitely was not worth the money he was bought for, and he hasn't looked like it since he's been. I mean, his main highlight is telling Sarri to get the fuck off the field.
Yeah, that's in that Carabao Cup final.
Yeah, I mean, and that's all he has. Reguilon's coming into the league now. That's another flying fullback. Now that we're on the topic, scoring fullback also puts up really decent numbers from the left side. Was it the final of the Europa?
Yep.
Took it all the way up.
And going on the run to the Europa, like, I'm pretty sure he got like a single-handed goal where he picked it up at midfield and basically just dribbled it through the entire. I can't remember who they were playing, but he dribbled it the entire way and scored. So yeah, if you have a defensive player that you want to get rid of, I highly recommend you picking up Reguilon for Spurs. He's available this week, and I would say if you have a center back that's on any team other than City or Liverpool, then I would get rid of that center back and add in Reguilon.
Yeah, probably. Me personally, I like to go to more of a fullback-centric defense, just for the sake you can get clean sheets in. There's a better likelihood you're going to get assists, and also goals too.
Yeah.